grow and produce and generate and be a source of life for our country and meet the needs of power for many households. Distinguished guests, Mr. President, with all the activities we have undertaken during the past 18 years, we have set an exemplary position. In 2001, our installed power capacity was only 39,000 megawatts, and now it has exceeded the figure of 91,000. We almost tripled our power. And every year we are bringing in an additional 6% of installed power, and we rank among the top among the OECD countries. So we are indeed the first among the OECD countries, and we increase our installed power capacity more and more. And we have a lot of resources, renewable energy resources, including solar and wind power and hydroelectric power and many other resources, and we renew our sources every passing year. In 2002, the renewable energy resources only took around 22% of the total power capacity, but now we have exceeded the figure of 57%. Since 2017, our renewable energy capacity increase has brought us to the third rank in Europe. The investments we make into renewable energy indeed are formed into positive developments, and we have generated a lot of local and renewable energy. In April, we have increased the share of it up to 80%, and on a monthly basis, we have broken records. And we have daily capacity increase as well in terms of renewable energy resources. Mr. President, with your strong political will and with the support and belief by our people, we are pursuing our journey and we have been commissioning investments that will make Turkey even further stronger and more independent. Our installed power by the end of May has exceeded the figure of 29,000 megawatts. In other words, the total installed power of Turkey currently is much higher than what it was in 2002. And we rank the second in Europe in terms of our installed power capacity. And we are marching towards the first rank. And as you said, the water runs and the Turkish people produce. So this is the embodiment of this motto, if you will. And in October, we will undertake further activities for mini power plants. And with those power plants of smaller scale, we are planning to open a new page. We will have 10, 15, and 20 megawatts capacity of solar power plant projects, and we will organize competitions for that reason. This way, small and medium-sized enterprises will be included into the scope of renewable energy resources generation. And hopefully this August, with your participation, we will be commissioning the first facility that produces integrated solar panels, and it will be set into operation in Ankara. We are using our own resources, our human resources, our own energy and power, and we will continue to make the best out of them. Mr. President, with your visionary leadership and also with the power we take from Turkey's history and civilization, we will be achieving our goals of 2023, 2053, and 2071. Mr. President, with your instruction, in a short while, we will be commissioning the new power plant, which has a total installed power of 90,000 megawatts. And it will be meeting the needs of around 230,000 households. And it will be preventing an extra carbon dioxide release of 230,000 annually, and contribute to the activities to prevent air pollution. And we have employed many people at this power plant, and it will help with the social development of the region, as well as it will, of course, financial contributions. I would like to thank to the President, to IDEM Renewable Energy Resources Company, all the engineers and workers who made this dam possible and formed it into a great work of concrete art. May it all be auspicious. If you allow us, Mr. President, we will go to the opening of the dam. But if you allow me first, I will make a speech. Of course, Mr. President. So, now, in 2012, what was our installed power capacity by the end of 2012? By the end of 2002, it was 30,000 megawatts, Mr. President. Our total installed capacity was 30,000 megawatts by the end of 2002. But now, thank God, we have exceeded the figure of 90,000 megawatts. Now, we have exceeded the figure of 91,115 megawatts hour. So this should be taken to note by our people, our nation, because it has increased from 30,000 up to 91,000 megawatts in 18 years, and we have increased our capacity of installed power. My great nation, distinguished members of the energy industry, distinguished guests, I would like to cordially greet you all. Those who are watching us, I would like to thank because they are sharing this excitement with us, and I place a lot of importance to the fact that we enjoy this together. May the hydroelectric power plants we are inaugurating now be auspicious for our cities, for our country and people. I would like to congratulate and thank to all the institutions, all the authorities who contributed to the construction of these projects, starting from the Ministry of Energy and Natural Resources. I would like to congratulate and thank to all the workers, engineers, all the contracting companies. These power plants will contribute to the development, further development of our country, and these are the symbols of our growth. These are the symbols, so to say, of becoming more and more civilized. During the pandemic, other than the healthcare services, Turkey continued with its investments, and this way has shown its determination to achieve the 2023 goals. A country which lacks energy cannot talk about civilization, or it cannot mention about development or industrialization. Across the whole world, we have been going through a period when everyone goes introvert, but we have been taking many steps and distinguish ourselves in many fields, and we have exhibited the fact that we have not surrendered to the pandemic. We have inaugurated many services buildings by the Tax Authority and Revenue Administration, and also Konya Plain Irrigation Facility inauguration ceremony took place. And in the previous weeks, Kars Dam, Ulusu Dam, and many hospitals, as well as Istanbul Airport's third runway, and many other plans and facilities have been inaugurated, and they have been set into operation. With all these works of art we create, we have a busy agenda of inauguration. But during this critical period in particular, we believe in the politics of creating works and delivering services and constructing. Therefore, I would like to thank to all the authorities, all the ministries, and all the private companies, and I ask them to speed up their agendas of further investment and activities. And thank God they have responded well. We have been keeping a close track already on the works undertaken by the ministries, but the private sector also has been engaged in many activities. Only in the organized industrial zones, in the past 6 months, they have brought 583 factories into operation. With the new incentive documents, we have undertaken a lot of investments which will provide additional employment for 119,000 people. And the fact that we have increased our capacity of electricity power generation shows that the gears have started turning more and more functionally, and we see that our exporters are in close contact with many across the world. And for us to achieve our goals, we need to, of course, keep the normalization activities positive and stable. Some European countries apply double standards and put some other countries, which are indeed behind Turkey, in front of us. But so far, we have never achieved anything without giving a good fight. But of course, during this pandemic, we have struggled, and we will continue to achieve what we have in mind in the best way possible. So with the public institutions, authorities, and the private sector, we have been becoming more and more flexible and resistant against such predicaments. From politics to economy, from transportation to health, we have full confidence. We know who has weakness. We have seen that during the crisis of refugees, and as well during this very pandemic. And we know that our power comes from our mindset, and we firmly believe that we will triumph at the end. And this inauguration ceremony, we believe, is an important step in terms of the expansion politics we have adopted. My distinguished brothers and sisters, during the past 18 years, we have brought many works, many services into form, and we attached importance to two important issues. We first wanted to tackle the gaps of the past 79 years, and we have increased the number of schools in the field of education, and the number of teachers has increased up to 970,000. We have established an additional 132 new universities and ensured equality and equity in education. In the field of health, we have equipped our hospitals with the state-of-art technology, and more than 800 hospitals and healthcare institutions are exemplary. And we have now an additional some 7,000 healthcare professionals recruited. And in the field of transportation, we have constructed new highways and 473 kilometers long tunnels, and also high-speed train lines. And we have inaugurated 30 new airports. We did not only bring people closer, but we also brought the hearts of everyone close to one another. In the field of health, we supported SMEs and also organized industrial zones. We encouraged for further activities in the field of industry. We have grown our capacity of export. And we undertook 32 new industrial projects and have become self-sufficient, and we brought our self-sufficiency rates from 20% up to 70%. By the activities of TOKİ, the Housing Development Authority of Turkey, we have constructed many buildings and offered chances to our people. And we also constructed city parks and gardens and people's gardens. And TOKİ now has constructed thousands of dwelling houses, and the sales in automotive industry is also positive. We, on the other hand, increased our production capacity in the field of agriculture, and we have increased our capacity indeed by 5-folds. And in every field we have similar success stories. These all are much more as we compare it to what was done before us throughout the history of the Republic. And these all are also the signals and the symbols of the further investments and activities to be undertaken in the future. And our children will establish their principles, their visions, on the pillars of this vision and understanding. So now we know that when we took over in 2002, many could not even contemplate or think about what we would do and to where we would arrive. But what we have done so far will be carried over to the next generations and will be brought to the level that our great nation desires, and our young people will ensure that. Distinguished guests, this trust environment we have ensured through hard work also has been reflected on our energy investments. First of all, national and international investors trust in the energy law and the future of Turkey. We have made sure of that. With this, we have allocated an investment budget of almost 100 billion liras, liquefied gas, regular storing and re-gassing plants, and underground storing plants met our needs. The first and only natural gas sales market has become operational, activated, and capitalized in our country. TANAP and Turkstream, like international pipelines, has strengthened the role of Turkey in being a hub in the field of energy. And over the seas, with our drilling ships of PARTİ and Yavuz, we started activities of drilling and exploration. This way, we have rendered our country more and more strong, and we have upset all the plans and traps set in front of us in the East Mediterranean. And for after that, we have started our activities for exploration and drilling in the Black Sea. So we have not compromised, and we will continue with our activities. The first reactor of Akkuyu nuclear power plant will hopefully be commissioned in 2023. With this project, we will diversify our energy generation capacity and make our energy portfolio a much more balanced one. And for our mines, we also are engaged in intensive efforts to produce coal. In the field of producing coal, we have broken records. And other minerals and boron, for example, have now been produced and explored more and more in our country. In the past, due to lack of advanced technology, we were selling our raw materials to other countries. But now, using our own technology and our own human resources, we will process them and export. This way, we will value our mines more and more and give them the due value that they deserve. and we will increase the capacity by almost 24 folds. And the biggest share of our energy resources goes to the renewable energy resources. And this very activity we are engaged in today is to do with renewable energy. We are among the top in terms of renewable energy in the world. In terms of the installed power, we're ranked the 13th in the world and the 6th in Europe in terms of renewable energy resources and installed power capacity. And in terms of hydroelectric power, we are ranked the 2nd in Europe and 9th in the world. In solar energy, we rank the 14th in world and 7th in Europe. And in geothermal energy, we are the 1st in Europe and the 4th in the world. But of course, there are some people who still doesn't want to and are unable to grasp those facts. They are making uproars under the disguise of certain masks, and their purpose is to make Turkey dependent to external parties in the field of energy. And we know that almost 40-50 billion dollars are coming out of Turkey's pocket to go to other external parties, but we have not cared for what they said, because every point of increase will contribute to tackle our current account deficit. And we will continue for that reason to produce, to generate locally. And we have started many other projects, and we have covered a lot of road. The locally produced integrated power plant, solar power plant will be operational, and the facility will be employing about 1,400 people when it comes operational. And the solar panel production plant will have a very big capacity of production. And as Turkey grows, of course, the energy consumption will increase. In the past 18 years, we have observed a 5% of increase in energy demand, and we rank the 2nd among the OECD countries. And we will be attaching a priority to the locally produced, generated renewable energy resources. And for that reason, we have been registering annually an average of 6.1% of capacity increase, and we rank the 1st in this regard among the OECD countries. And the 55% of the 68,000 megawatts capacity which has been brought to use is coming from the renewable energy resources. And this way we will be meeting the 62% of our energy needs from locally generated resources and renewable resources, of course. Last year we started electricity generation projects, and in this field we ranked 2nd in Europe last year. In the first 5 months of 2020, we have increased the share of renewable energy resources up to 66%, and now we have 52 hydroelectric power plants, which totally have a capacity of 1,439 megawatts. So we're talking about 52 hydroelectric power plants. And when we are inaugurating all these plans, we bring in further activities. And we know that this is not dirty energy, it is clean energy. And our people, of course, will not be disturbed anyhow by this clean energy. And the investment amount is standing at a figure of 11.3 billion liras. And we will be converting the power of water into energy, and hydroelectric power plant installed capacity has increased also last year. And the electricity generated only by use of water has even exceeded the natural gas import figure, which is 17 billion. Distinguished friends, hopefully in the following weeks we will be inaugurating new hydroelectric power plants and thermal power plants and renewable energy power plants. All these investments will be carried over to the next generations, and it will be our biggest legacy. And I would like to thank to everyone who contributed to the fruition of these activities, these investments. I would like to thank to the ministries, to the authorities, relevant authorities and institutions, and all the contracting companies on behalf of my nation. And I would like to extend my special thanks personally to them. Now we will be making live connections, and I see a member of parliament representing Tokat province. I see Dr. Özcan Balcı, the governor of Tokat province of Turkey. If you make a sign, it will be to the best. AK Party Tokat provincial head Metin Polat, I see him. And I also see Tokat Mayor Eyüp Eroğlu, Tokat Niksar District Mayor Özdilek Özcan. I also see him. Make a sign. Wave at us. And now I see also IDEM chair of board, Mr. Sardanlı. All right, thank you. And now, I guess I mentioned everyone. Is that right, Mr. Minister? Okay. Now take the buttons. Mr. President, they have a ribbon for us to cut. All right. Hopefully, it will bring in further energy to the already existing energy capacity of our country, and we will now cut the ribbon to open this great facility. May God accept our prayers. All right, it has started generating power. May it be auspicious.
Evet. Hayırlı olsun. Diğerlerini de burada mı diyoruz? Alın bakalım. Evet, Bingöl.
Now we go to Bingöl province.
Abdullah Bey duyuyor musun?
Mr. Abdullah, can you hear us? Yes, I can hear, Mr. President.
Şöyle öncelikle
Okay, first of all,
bir dakika acele etme, acele etme, acele etme.
don't hurry. Just a moment.
Öncelikle AK Parti Bingöl
AK
Milletvekili
Parti
Cevdet Yılmaz Bey.
Bingöl
Şöyle
City
ellerinizle bir işaret buyurun.
MP
Cevdet Bey,
Mr. Cevdet,
Fevzi Berdibek.
Mr. Fevzi Berdibek.
Fevzi Bey'i de görelim.
Let's see him.
Evet.
Okay.
Bingöl Valisi Kadir Ekinci Bey.
Bingöl City Governor Mr. Kadir Ekinci.
Bingöl Valimizi görelim.
Let's see the Governor of Bingöl
AK
Province.
Parti Bingöl İl Başkanı
AK
Mehmet
Parti
Hanifi Güler.
Bingöl Province Head Mr. Mehmet Hanifi Güner.
Evet. MHP Bingöl İl Başkanı Nurettin Varol.
Bingöl Province Head of Nationalist Movement Party
Nurettin Varol Bey'i de görelim.
Mr. Nurettin Varol.
Evet.
Let's see him too.
Bingöl Belediye Başkanı Erdal
Bingöl Mayor
Arıkıran.
Erdal Arıkıran.
Erdal Bey.
Mr.
Evet.
Arıkıran.
AK Parti Solhan İlçe Başkanı
AK Parti
Nihat Doğu.
Solhan District Head Mr. Nihat Doğu.
Solhan Belediye Başkanı Abdülhakim Yıldız.
And Solhan District Mayor Hakim Yıldız.
Genç İlçesi Belediye Başkanı Mehmet Zeki Dirik.
Genç District Mayor Mr. Dirik.
Genç İlçe Başkanı Aydın Kalabalık.
Genç District City District Head Mr. Kalabalık.
Evet. Cengiz Holding Yönetim Kurulu
Cengiz
Başkanı
Holding
Mehmet Cengiz.
Chair of Board Mr. Mehmet
Mehmet
Cengiz.
yok galiba.
Is Mehmet Cengiz there? Is he not?
Ha, tamam.
Okay.
Hayrettin Özaltın Cengiz
Hayrettin
Holding Yönetim
Özaltın,
Kurulu Başkan Yardımcısı.
the Deputy Chair of Board of Cengiz Holding
Evet.
Company.
Abdullah
Okay.
Bey buyurun.
The floor is yours.
Abdullah Bey buyurun.
Sayın Cumhurbaşkanım, Bingöl'den saygı ve selamlarımızı
Mr. President,
birlikte
we
arz ediyoruz.
convey our greetings, love and respect from Bingöl Province
Şu anda
of
Aşağı
Turkey.
Kaleköy
Now we are
santralindeyiz.
at the Aşağı Kaleköy power plant.
500 megawattlık bir
It has a
kurulu
capacity
güce
of
sahip
500
bir
megawatts,
santral.
an installed power
Bu
capacity.
santralin
This
yaklaşık
is
30 kilometre ilerisinde Yukarı
30
Kaleköy
kilometers
santralimiz
away
var.
from it. We have Yukarı Kaleköy power plant,
627 megawattlık
and
da
it has
o
a capacity
santralimizin
of
kapasitesi mevcut.
627 megawatts,
Her iki santralimizin
and
yılda
both
2,7
power
milyar
plants
kilowatt saatlik bir üretim kapasitesi
generates
söz konusu.
around 2.7 billion megawatts of
Santraller
electricity
yapılırken yaklaşık 10.000 kişiye
annually.
istihdam sağlandı.
These power plants help with the employment of about 10,000 people
Şu anda da
during
yaklaşık
construction,
300 kişi
and
istihdam
currently
anında santralde
around
görev yapıyor.
300 people are employed at the power
Bu
plants which are
santralin
operational
özelliklerinden
now.
birisi de silindir
One
ve
aspect
sıkıştırma
of
alanında
this power
dünya
plants
birincisi
of these
ödülüne
power
sahip
plants
olması.
is that it ranks among the top. It is indeed the number one in terms
Her
of
iki santralimizin de
cylinder
ülkemize,
based
vatanımıza ve
compression,
milletimize hayırlı olmasını temenni ediyorum.
and we wish that both power plants will be auspicious for our
Ve
country,
bize
for
bu
our
eseri
people.
kazandıran her
And
iki
I also
yatırımcı
would like to
şirketimize
thank
de
to
tüm
both
milletimiz adına ve
investing
enerji
companies
camiamız adına
on behalf
teşekkürlerimi
of our
sunuyorum.
country and the energy industry of Turkey.
Bakanlığımız
Arz
ve
The
ederim.
yüklenici firmalarımız
ministry and
gerek
the
Cengiz, gerekse
contracting
Özaltın
companies,
firmalarımıza
Cengiz and Özaltın
özellikle şahsım,
companies,
yönetim adına
I would like to
çok
thank
teşekkür
to the
ediyorum.
companies very much
Gerçekten
personally and on
böyle
behalf of my
sıkıştırılmış
nation
bir anlayışla
because
bu beton yapıların
these
yapılmış
concrete
olması
structures
ve
have
böyle
now
bir
been
barajın
constructed
burada
with compression
dağların arasında
technologies,
kurulmuş olması
and the
her
fact
türlü
that this
takdiri
dam has been
üzerindedir.
constructed
Bu vesileyle
in between mountains is to be appreciated. It has those two power plants have a total of 1200 megawatts, and this makes history. May God help us, because clean energy is a source of pride everywhere. So this is not a thermic power plant, this is not a coal plant, this is a hydroelectric power plant. It's glittering, and it is going to be generating very clean energy. I would like to thank to all the brothers and sisters, all the citizens who worked during the construction of the plants and who are employed at those plants. And we know that more and more people will be employed by those power plants. And now we have adorned our Bingöl province with such a great work of art. Now you hold the ribbon. Let's now cut the ribbon. Are you all ready?
Hazırız Sayın Cumhurbaşkanım.
Yalnız makaslarla kordelaları bırakmayın. Makaslarla kordelaları bugünün anısına alın.
But keep those pieces of ribbon and scissors as souvenirs for today, because you won't be able to find those after it.
Bismillah.
İnşallah.
Hayırlı olsun.
May it be auspicious. May it bring luck and success.
Mustafa Bey, bizleri duyuyor musun?
Mustafa Bey, can you hear us?
Mustafa Bey, bizleri duyuyor musun?
Can you hear us, Mustafa Bey?
Sayın Cumhurbaşkanım.
Duyuyor musun? Ha, ben kendimi
Can you
duyuyorum
hear?
da. Sen de duyuyor musun?
Because I hear myself as a
Duyuyoruz
feedback,
Sayın
but can you hear us?
Güzel.
Yes, Mr. President.
Duyuyoruz efendim, duyuyoruz.
Sağ ol.
Yes,
Şu
sir, we
anda
can hear you.
Osman Ören Bey, AK Parti Siirt Milletvekili, şöyle işaret buyursunlar.
Now we also see Mustafa Ören, AK Parti MP of
Bir dakika Mustafa Bey, acele etme. Evet, Osman Ören Bey'i
Siirt
görelim. Tamam. Osman Hacı
Province.
Bektaşoğlu,
Osman
Siirt Valisi.
Hacı Bektaşoğlu, the governor of
Görelim.
Siirt Province. Let us see him too.
Ekrem Olgaç,
Mr.
AK Parti İl
Ekrem
Başkanı.
Olgaç, AK Party
Fatih
Province
Can
Head,
Türk,
Provincial Head,
MHP İl Başkanı.
and Fatih Can Türk,
Tayyar Özcan,
the
AK
provincial
Parti
head of
Pervari Belediye Başkanı.
Nationalist Movement Party.
İşaret buyursunlar.
Please wave at us, make a sign so that we can see you.
Necat Cellek,
Necat
AK Parti
Cellek,
Şirvan Belediye Başkanı.
AK Party Şirvan Mayor.
Nihat Özdemir,
Nihat Özdemir,
Limak Holding Yönetim
Limak
Kurulu
Holding
Başkanı.
Chair of Board.
Evet, Ebru Özdemir,
Ebru Özdemir,
Limak Holding
Limak
Yönetim Kurulu
Holding
Başkan Yardımcısı.
Company Deputy Chair of Board.
Batuhan Özdemir, Limak
Batuhan
Holding
Özdemir,
Yönetim Kurulu üyesi mi?
is he a member of the board?
Evet. Mustafa Bey buyurun.
Okay. The floor is yours.
Sayın Cumhurbaşkanım, Evliyalar Diyarı Siirt'ten saygılarımızı sunuyoruz.
Mr. President,
Bugün
we would like to
adı
send
gibi çetin
our
bir
greetings
arazide
from
yıldız
Siirt.
gibi yükselen bir proje projenin açılışını gerçekleştiriyoruz.
a hometown of
Çetin Barajı
saints.
ve
We
hidroelektrik santralı
are
ülkemiz
opening
ve
this
milletimiz için
hydroelectric power
gerçekten
plant,
çok
and
değerli bir
this
yatırım.
power plant is a very valuable
Sizin de
investment
ifade
for our
ettiğiniz
country
gibi
and for our city. As you
ülkemizde
expressed
özellikle
before,
son yıllarda
in our
yenilenebilir
country, we
yatırımlar,
have concentrated
yenilenebilir enerji
on
olan
more
yatırımlardan
and
bir
more
tanesi bugün
the
Çetin Barajı
renewable energy
165
resources,
metreköyde yüksekliği,
and this water
90
dam
metrede
has
genişliği
a
ve yaklaşık
height
4
of
milyon 800 bin metreküp yüzey
165
hacmi ile
meters,
silindirle sıkıştırılmış beton tipine göre
and it
Türkiye'nin ve
was
Avrupa'nın en
constructed
büyük barajı.
with compressed concrete
Hidroelektrik santrali ise
structure,
420 megawatt kurulu gücünde
and it has an installed power of 445 megawatts,
kapasitesine sahip.
and it has a big capacity.
Sadece Siirt'in 3 yıllık enerji tüketimine tekabül eden bir yatırım
Its
değil,
annual
aynı
generation
zamanda bölgemizdeki
contributes
Türkiye'nin,
to the city,
Hakkari ve Batman'ın
but
toplam
not
enerji
only to the city of Siirt, but also to the neighboring cities such as Şırnak and Batman.
enerji demek 1 milyon hanenin
And
yıllık
it also
elektrik
will be
enerji
needing
ihtiyacı
the power need of about
Uzmanlar ve
1
insanların
million
3,5
households.
yıl gibi bir rekor sürede tamamlanan
And this
barajın
project,
hidroelektrik
Çetin
santralinin
Dam and
ülkemiz için
Hydroelectric
yeniden yapmaya
Power
yeterli.
Plant was completed in 2.5 years, and only these figures help explain how great the project is. Now, the water runs and the Turkish people produce for it. And people of Turkey do not only produce dams, but we have the wind on our side, and we have turned our faces to the sun, and we have been adorning our city, our country with many projects as such. And we will continue to commission our renewable energy resources, and will be standing on our own feet. And we have been taking safe and secure steps towards that. And I also would like to say that this Çetin Dam and hydroelectric power plant will contribute to the employment capacity of our country. During the construction, we have employed about 2,000 people, with the suppliers included. The figure exceeded 3,000, and we believe it will provide further employment opportunities for the region overall. I would like to thank to Mr. Özdemir, the chairperson of board of Limak Holding, as I conclude, and I also would like to thank to everyone who contributed to the construction of this power plant and dam, and I wish that it will be auspicious for our city,
Evet, ben
region,
de
and
çok teşekkür
country.
ediyorum.
And we wait for your instructions for us to continue with the opening,
Silindiriyle
Mr. President.
sıkıştırılmış böyle bir gövde yapımına
So such
sahip
a structure
bu barajın hakikaten
based on
temel ilkemizi de
uh,
burada tahakkuk ettiriyor
compaction
olması
by
ayrı bir
rolling
sevinç
systems
vermiştir.
uh,
Her zaman söylediğim gibi
makes us happy that
su akar,
state-of-art
Türk bakar,
technology is
şimdi
used,
su akar, Türk yapar.
and the water runs,
Burada
the
olduğu
Turkish people
hakikaten
and Turkish
çok
people
çetin bir yerde.
produce
Zaten
out of it.
bölgelerde hakikaten Limak
So
ailesi
these areas, those locations of the country
imzasını
actually are
koydu.
rough,
Sadece
rough geographically,
buna benzer
and it is difficult to construct on those areas, regions, where we have a lot of mountains and hills, and Limak company undertook this project, and Mr. Nihat also contributed personally a lot. I would like to thank him for the efforts he has exerted. So with this new activity, we will make history in the region, and he is also himself from the region, and of course they're proud that such a big scale project has come to fruition. I guess we will also have a ribbon to cut here. Now we can continue.
Evet, kordelayı verelim.
We can proceed to the opening.
Şöyle mesafe açıklığına dikkat edelim.
But be careful about physical distance.
Fiziki mesafeye dikkat edelim.
Please be careful about physical distance.
Ebru Hanım neredesin? Nihat Bey,
Miss Ebru, where are you?
görmüyor musun?
Mr. Nihat, don't you take your daughter
Mesafeye.
to stand with you? Yes, please be careful about social distancing.
Hazır mıyız?
Are we ready?
Evet, hep söyledik. Su medeniyettir.
So we always reiterated that water means civilization, and energy is the
Enerji
most
olmadan
important
kalkınamıyor.
limb of a civilization. Without energy, you cannot develop.
Ayağa
Without
kalkıyor.
energy, the countries cannot stand tall. And hopefully, with this high quality renewable energy, our country, Turkey, will be standing
Ya
tall.
Allah, Bismillah diyoruz. Makas ve kordela bugünün hatırasıdır.
So keep the
Sakın orada
scissors and the
bırakmayın.
ribbon as souvenirs for today. Make sure you take them with you.
Evet, şimdi Ardahan Köroğlu Barajı ve Kotanlı
Now we go to
hidroelektrik
Ardahan
santrali açılış
Köroğlu
töreni
Dam and Kortarlı Hydroelectric Power Plant inauguration ceremony.
Alparslan Bayraktar Enerji ve Tabii
Alparslan
Kaynaklar Bakanı
Bayraktar, the
Yardımcımız,
Deputy Minister of Energy and Natural Resources, is
Ardahan
there.
Valimiz,
Hüseyin Öner, Governor of
Hakan Aydın,
Ardahan
AK Parti İl
Province.
Başkanı,
Hakan Aydın, AK
şöyle
Party
işaret
Provincial
buyurun
Head of Provincial Head. Mr. Aydın, please make a sign so that we can distinguish you.
Hülya Davutoğulları MHP İl
Hülya
Başkanı,
Davutoğulları, the Provincial Head of
Hülya Hanım'ı da görelim şöyle işaret
Nationalist
buyursunlar.
Movement Party, so let us see her as well. Can she make a sign,
Şöyle
please?
geniş açı yapalım.
Zoom out a little.
Yusuf Yılmaz, AK Parti Çıldır İlçe Başkanı,
Yusuf Yılmaz, AK Party Çıldır District Head.
Kemal Yakup Azizoğlu,
Kemal Yakup
Çıldır Belediye
Azizoğlu,
Başkanı,
Çıldır Mayor.
Özer Kutlu Ünal,
Özer Kutlu İnal
şirket yetkilisi.
is a representative of the company.
Evet. Alparslan Bayraktar Bey. Buyurun.
Now, Mr. Bayraktar, the floor is yours.
Sayın Cumhurbaşkanım,
President,
ve tüm Türkiye'ye
we would like to
saygılarımızı
convey our greetings, love and respect from Ardahan province of Turkey. As you said, Köroğlu Dam and the
25 megawatt
hydroelectric power plant will be commissioned today. It has a capacity of 125 megawatts, and with a full capacity, it will generate a lot of power and provide electricity to 7,000 households, more than 7,000 households. And during the construction of this plant, we employed about 1,000 people. And within the framework of social responsibility, we supported and provided incentives to the neighboring villages and towns and farmers. We also built water drilling.
katkı sağlandı. Sayın Cumhurbaşkanım, projenin ülkemize, milletimize ve Ardahan'a hayırlı olmasını
We were engaged in water drilling and also some other activities. So I would like to thank you very much for your contributions. And if you allow us, we will proceed to the opening ceremony, Mr. President. I also would like to thank you very much. Let's zoom out a little so that we can see everyone.
Hazır mıyız arkadaşlar?
Are we all ready, friends?
Hazırız efendim.
Evet. fiziki
We are ready,
mesafeye de
Mr. President.
dikkat edelim.
Okay, please be careful about social distancing.
Kordela, makas bugünün anısına sizde birer hatıradır.
So you should keep the ribbons
Alıp eve
and the scissors
hanımefendiye teslim ediyorsunuz.
as souvenirs. Please make sure you take them with you and
Evet.
bring them to your
Su
spouses,
akar,
to your
tüp
wives.
akar dediler. Ama artık o geçti. Şimdi
They all
su
said
akar, Türk
the
yapar.
Turkish will only
Böyle
watch
diyeceğiz.
as the water
Bu su
runs,
medeniyettir,
but now
böyle
the
bileceğiz.
Turkish will produce
İnşallah
as it runs, and
bölgelerin kurak
water is
topraklarını
civilization,
inşallah
and
bu
we will
suyla
breathe in further
böyle
life to the
rahat
dry
ve huzura kavuşturacağız.
lands of this
Ya
region
Allah!
with this water project.
Cumhurbaşkanlığı hükümet sistemiyle Türkiye her alanda büyüme ve atılım dönemine girdi. Yeni dönemin enerjisini yükseltecek projelerle yeni rekorlara imza attık. Bağımsız enerji, güçlü Türkiye diyerek enerjide gelecek vizyonunu belirledik. Yerli ve yenilenebilir kaynaklarımızı milli değere dönüştürerek son 2 yılı tarihi başarılarla kapattık. Temmuz 2018'den bu yana devreye aldığımız 1439 megawattlık 52 hidroelektrik santrali ile Anadolu coğrafyasının bereketini enerjiye çevirdik. Toplamda 11,3 milyar liralık yatırımla suyun gücünü üreten Türkiye'ye hayat kaynağı yaptık. 29 bin megawattı aşan hidroelektrik kurulu gücümüzle Türkiye'yi Avrupa'da 2. sıraya taşıdık.
2003'ten önce ülkemiz toplam 105 adet suyun gücünü elektriğe dönüştüren hidroelektrik santrali inşa edebilmişti. Biz 18 yılda 576 hidroelektrik santralini daha ülkemize kazandırdık.
Türkiye yerli enerjisiyle büyüyor, geleceği bugünden sağlam temeller üzerine inşa ediyor. Kamu ve özel sektörün sinerjisiyle enerjisini yeniliyor, enerjide milli bağımsızlık vizyonuyla 100 yıllık hedeflere emin adımlarla ilerliyor.
Ülkeye ve millete hizmet yolunda durmak yok, yola devam anlayışıyla gece gündüz eser üretmeye devam edeceğiz.
83 milyon tek yürek, bütün enerjimizle geleceğe yürüyoruz. Vakit Türkiye vakti. Yeni fırsatlarla geleceğe imza atma vakti.